Hello and welcome to a very special We Love Sport NFL chat, and we are going to talk about the NFL's 100th season. I'm joined by Jeff Reineebold and Brian Baldinger from the NFL Network. Let's talk then defining moments. It's a big year for the NFL, of course, the 100th season. What stood out for you, Baldy?
Well, I think that in the 100th year, that the league has never been bigger. It's never been more popular for so many different reasons. The young players, the turnover, the ratings are up right now. I think they've gotten a grip on how to make the game a little bit safer. I think we've seen some things of that. But 100 years later, it hasn't not reached a saturation point. We're still glued to the TV to watch it.
On both sides of the Atlantic.
Yes.
All around the world.
Yes.
That's the thing as well.
Yes.
I mean, that for me would be
global.
That would be one for me, is that this year, the opening of Tottenham Hotspur's stadium.
What a stadium.
We had Wembley for games in London to add that. We saw the Chicago Bears lose to the Oakland Raiders. We saw Tampa Bay lose to the Carolina Panthers back-to-back weeks. To have that added to what you've got already in London, I think was pretty special. And you could have picked that stadium up and put it anywhere in America, and it looked authentic.
And the sight lines in there are fantastic.
It's an amazing stadium. What about for you, Jeff?
To me, it's the emergence of the young guns. And when I say young guns, I'm talking about all these young quarterbacks. You know, this is a quarterback-driven league. You know, and now you look and you go from 2016 class, you got Goff and Wentz and Prescott. Then 2017 gives us Mahomes and Watson. But 18, you know, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, and maybe the biggest star, a potential star to come in the league in a long time, Lamar Jackson at Baltimore.
Yeah, over 1,000 yards rushing in just his second season, Baldy. That was pretty incredible stuff. And, yeah, the fact the league's in good shape when it looks at its young quarterbacks.
It's in good shape. And then I think, look, we're going to see eventually Tom Brady, Drew Brees, maybe Aaron Rodgers. We're going to see them step aside. We've always seen that.
Yeah.
We saw Montana and Marino and, Jim Kelly and Warren Moon. We've seen great players step aside, and we had the next wave coming in. And I feel like we're in really good hands. Yep. With Patrick Mahomes going to back-to-back AFC Championship games, Deshaun Watson, Lamar. I mean, this is Carson Wentz. I mean, we're seeing these young quarterbacks kind of carry the torch right now.
And they come in with tremendous physical skills, of course. That's part of it, but it's only one part of it. They come in with no fear.
That's just the price of admission.
Right.
You got to have physical ability to play at the highest level. But what I see, Neil, is the way that these young kids come in now with the maturity, right? But also how the coaches are embracing the talents of the players rather than trying to screw the player into a system. Baldy, when you were playing, they say it take a quarterback 4 years to become a starter. 4 years, you don't have 4 years anymore.
No, but like if in Lamar's case, they drafted Lamar and they built the offense around him.
Exactly.
They brought in the coach to do it, Greg Roman, who had coached Colin Kaepernick in San Francisco in a similar type of offense. And then they added the talent around him immediately, Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews, and they gave him weapons.
Yeah.
And then if you look at what Patrick Mahomes has to work with in Kansas City, it's a track team.
It's a track team. It's the
US, give them as much as they can.
USA 4x100 teams out there. I swear, it's amazing.
When we look across the league as well, as we got to the final 8 in the divisional round of the playoffs, only one team, the Kansas City Chiefs, were at that stage the previous year. Every year we see the turnover. Every year from 1990, there has been at least 4 new playoff teams that weren't in the postseason the previous year. That's 30 years of turning it over. I mean, this is one of the things the NFL loves.
Well, it gives every team hope, right? And that's the biggest ingredient that there is in anything is hope.
Yeah.
And so it could start with a coaching change, with the draft, with free agency. We look at the 49ers and how they've come.
Hey, hold on a second now. My favorite team as a little kid was the Detroit Lions.
Well, some stay bad.
There are exceptions to all rules here.
Some bad teams stay bad, Jeff. That's just going to be the way
we've done it. We've been consistently bad for a long time.
But you said that the Kansas City Chiefs are the only team in the same position that they were in a year ago, going to the Final Four. And that team that they lost to, is it the end of the greatest dynasty we've ever seen, the New England Patriots? Have we seen the end of it? Or is there still a little bit of life left? Could they somehow still make another run next year? We don't know if it's going to break up yet.
That's how high their bar is set.
Right.
They won their 11th straight division title, and we're talking about them like we're ready to stick a fork in them. And
See, my job is to ask you guys questions. That's a great question, Baldy. So, pretend he's never said that. Okay. Brian, do you think the New England Patriots are coming to the end of their dynasty?
I don't. Because I don't think.
That's a big setup, wasn't it?
It's all it is. But, like, we have counted this team out before, and they've come. In Super Bowls, we've counted them out. Down 28-3 to the Falcons, and they came back and won the game.
Yeah.
They've found ways, and I just don't think that there is a succession plan right now in place if Tom Brady is to leave.
Yeah.
Like, I think the owner would be crazy to let him go. Pay him whatever it is. Build up around him. There's a dearth of talent around him. Spend the resources to give Tom Brady what he needs. Just for a week, we saw just the addition of Antonio Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Just 1 week.
Yep.
We saw him
went off against the Dolphins, didn't he?
Went up against the Dolphins,
Yep.
scored a touchdown in the first game. It looked like the offense looked different as soon as he was on the field with an elite talent like that.
Brady will be a story for the NFL's 101st season, where we see where he is. Is he still in New England? Do you think it's coming to an end, Jeff?
No, I don't. I agree with Baldy in that they are still a very, very good football team. And as long as that guy with the hood on is roaming on the sidelines, they'll always be in every game. And the thing that defines the Patriots to me is not Tom Brady. Wasn't Gronkowski. It wasn't Willie McGinnis. It wasn't all the great players they've had there. It's the consistency of message throughout the organization. And that's one of the reasons I think they've been able to be the dynasty that they've been able to be, because there's a consistent expectation level throughout the organization. There's accountability throughout the organization. It doesn't matter. The players are interchangeable parts. It's hard to say that, but it's true.
Every team sells that hope at the start of the year as well, but sometimes we kind of don't believe it. We just think it is training camp hype. But San Francisco would be an example that it is genuine. They were, 4-12 last year, back-to-back losing seasons, and now they're one of the strongest teams in the NFL. So it genuinely can, our narratives that we have in the preseason can get kicked out the window pretty quickly.
But I thought San Francisco was going to be a good team.
Yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo,
Jimmy played.
Yeah, he only played 3 games last year. But I thought if he was healthy throughout, that this was going to be a team that would contend. And if they didn't, I thought it would be a disappointment. But I thought the way that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan had been building this, and the way that they loaded up, especially in the defensive front, you'll see other teams try to copy that now.
Right.
Now, if you can. They've got 5 number 1 draft picks in the defensive line. But that is the foundation to this team. And sometimes it could be just one player. Like when Lawrence Taylor went to the New York Giants, he turned a losing franchise around like that. And I thought when Nick Bosa came, I'm not saying he's Lawrence Taylor yet. It's too premature for that. But he had that type of talent that everybody on the team could recognize. He's a difference maker. He's a great white shark out there in a shark feeding frenzy that they have. And I thought that he just upgraded everybody's ability across that defense. And it shows.
Good job, Baldy, Jeff Reineebold. That was easier than one of those 8-hour marathons we do on a Sunday night, wasn't it? That's it from We Love Sport today. Find out where you can watch the Super Bowl by downloading the We Love Sport app. We'll see you next time.